Coaches, welcome to week 3, week 4. Goal for these 2 weeks would be prevent opponents from building up in their half, whether that be from goal kicks, restarts from their own half, or maybe they've gone backwards, and how can we press as a group from there. Ultimately, how your team presses will be how you would like them to press. And we could talk a little bit about that towards the end. But to start, let's go through the sessions for this week. So, first session scheduled for the week 3.1 is just to introduce individual defending. So, we're going to introduce individual defending. We'll introduce pair defending. It may be an introduction, it may be a little bit deeper dive into what that looks like. What we want to do, though, is do this contextually within an area of the field that we're defending in. So if we're going 1v1 defending, if we can contextualize that closer to the goal, maybe we have some goalkeepers playing the ball in. Obviously, at 9 through 12, some of us don't have. We have a lot of kids playing goalkeeper, right? So this might be just a rotation player, but it symbolizes a goalkeeper possibly playing a ball in, like we would playing out of the back. You could start this player out a little bit wider if you want to show them that that's an accurate depiction of what we would like to see from a defender. That's fair enough. I put the goals central. You can put them wherever you would like to put them. Ultimately, again, it's your team's identity as far as how you want to pressure, when you want to pressure, and who you want to pressure. At 9 and 10, maybe that's not something we're really delineating towards the end of the week, maybe. Towards the end of the 2-week cycle, maybe, but not right away. Regardless, I put the goals central on this one, and then one out wide and one central on this one, just to show you that we can have a difference. So if the goals are more centrally located, what you're contextualizing is that you don't want them to play the ball centrally. So you're going to come in and you're going to force them outside. This is where we really want to make sure that our players understand what we expect of them in a 1v1 situation. So we need to demonstrate what that pressure looks like. We need to demonstrate when that pressure is occurring. So as soon as that ball's played in. We need to also identify the cues to which to get closer. So is it a bad touch? Can we win the ball? Is it a bad pass? Can we expect a bad touch because of the bad pass? Is a pass flighted? Is it in the air a little bit, and it's therefore going to be more difficult to receive as a defender? Is the ball bouncing? So a lot of times at 9, 10, 11, 12, goalkeepers aren't great at distribution. So is the ball bouncing from the goalkeeper? Is it a great play in from the goalkeeper? These are cues we need to look at. Maybe their back is turned. That's a really big cue. So if that player turns their back, that's a really good time that we're going to want to press, and then not let them turn. And so then where to press? We're going to want to go away from this goal. Same activity. Really what this does is then it's really from a goalkeeper playing out wide. Maybe it's a goal kick, so this is like a build out line. But what we're really doing here is preventing them from back playing centrally. Okay, this is an area where you would like to work on. Maybe you really want them to come back centrally because you have a lot of numbers there and you want the goals out wide. Totally okay. And that just means we would force this player back inside, right? So really it depends on, again, what your identity for your group looks like. This would be different in different styles of play, different formations, different goals for what you want. Maybe it's down the line. Maybe it's a different opponent, like 15 through 19. Maybe we're looking at an opponent and what an opponent does well and what we want to keep the opponent from doing, right? So this is kind of the goal. Again, you can alter these goals how you see fit. I wouldn't make this if you want to make this easier, you're going to make the space bigger. If you want to make it harder, you're going to make it smaller. Much less, you're not going to do much else to it to make it easier or make it more difficult. Same coaching points as previous. Okay, and then we just get a little bit bigger, 3v3. This ensures that we're 1v1. Okay, but we do need to make sure that even though we have a continued focus on 1v1, and it's 3v3, we shouldn't be marked up. So if this player has the ball, this is a fairly good shape. We don't want to get split between us and they're scoring goals, because if we mark these players up, if this yellow player has the ball here, and we mark this player and this player up, now they're feeding the ball on the splits and they're running onto it. So marking up isn't a great idea, a great way to defend in soccer, period. At the end, we're playing up to 99. Up to you. All right. Again, a lot of the same stuff. You could introduce 2v2 here. So you might want to start with 1v1 just to get the idea of the game down, especially if you're struggling with concise information and keeping those discussions very quick, clear, and concise. You might want to start with 1v1. Okay, we have a target area here. Just dribble in if you're this player. If you're this 3, you dribble into that target area almost like an end zone. If we win it, can we go to goal? And then as soon as we can, we go into this grid. You're not going to want these types of numbers. So 8, 16 players on one half, you're probably not going to want, because while this side's going, because they're eventually going to try to score, this side is resting. So you're going to want to keep your numbers a little bit minimum here. You can go, I guess 3 where one player is going in every once in a while. 4 and 4 would be max. I wouldn't go much more than that. I wouldn't go any more than that. All right, and then we have a 2v2 flying changes type game. So we could play it in. You could play it with flying changes. You can play it just 2v2. If you don't know what flying changes is, essentially it's if let's say red brings it on, as shown by the snake arrow. So red brings that ball on. It's 2 against 2. Blue comes in. Whoever kicks it out, whether that's a goal, whether that goes out of bounds, whether it's a missed shot, whatever, they stay on to defend. And then so let's say red comes on, blue wins it, and they shoot. The 2 blues are going to stand and defend, and then another set of reds, 2 more reds, are going to bring a new ball on. What this does is, let's say this blue player comes in, scores, and is really close to this goal, can red attack in 2v1. Now, what this is going to teach is delay. So the coaching points here are going to be delay, and then can we recover, right? So delay and recover on these 2 players, recovering back. Let me get into a graphic, and I can show you a little bit better. So I will actually open that graphic specifically. Okay, so big graphic here. Player 1 brings the ball on. Okay, ends up here. Player 2 our blue player does a really good job of pressuring up in here. Okay, and they win the ball, and then they go and score. So they have just scored here. Okay, they've scored. All right, and they've got some help here. So they've scored. These reds are going to leave the field. Okay, new red is going to bring a new ball on as quick as possible. Now, the goal for red is to catch them in a 2v1. Right, that'd be the goal. Can we catch them in a 2v1? And if we can we go quickly? Right, what this is going to do is it's going to create some opportunities. Now, I preface this by saying, like, you're going to have to let them learn this game a little bit without jumping in every second. The habit that most of us are going to have is that this is going to be difficult for them to understand. We have to jump in and tell them when to go each time. We have to let them make some decisions and learn these games. So really balance when we're jumping in and when we're not jumping in. Let them play for a bit. Let them make some mistakes, maybe a little bit of reminder here and there. But we have to step back and As long as they understand overall what the goal is, we can remind them, hey, who kicked it out? So then who brings the ball on? We're asking them the questions. Who kicked it out? So who brings the ball on? All right, so we get into this 2v1 situation. What we're trying to do here is cut this pass off and delay. So we want to give them space. We don't want them to shoot. We don't want to be too tight to where they pass by and somebody moves on. It's really a balance of delay, 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 while this player gets back and helps us defend. And then we can kind of coach that. Really what we're looking for is, can this player get back, recover, and help us defend? Okay, so as soon as we get caught out, as soon as we see that we're numbers down, can we get back? Can we recover while this player delays? Those are super important coaching points. I actually think I failed. I'm going to fix this and resend it. I think I failed to update my coaching points from something else. Maybe not. Pressure cover, yes, but I think delay and recovery is going to be really huge here. So put a focus on that, if you will. Here, we're just got a 4v4 to goal game, okay? If we have a build-out line, please use it. We might want to talk about who's pressuring and when, but I wouldn't get into it at the end of the session. I'd wait until we get into here to discuss, right? So somewhere in there, a little bit here, who goes when. This is more 1v1 stuff. Just repetition, 1v1 in the attacking third. We get into some 2v2. You can introduce a third neutral. Same thing, build out line. It's introducing really what that build out line is for 7v7, 9v9. You wouldn't have it. Again, 7v7. How does this look? So when this ball's played outside, what do we look like? If this ball's played central, what do we look like? If this ball's played out wide, what do we look like? When do we go? The cues, where do we force them? Where's our help? All of those things is what we're looking at. 4.1, the first session of the second week is this session as well. So we're just building on it. We're just going back. Let's give them a little bit of reminder and then move forward. At the end, can we play 7v7 and 9v9, depending on the age group? Okay. 4.2, a lot like 4.1, but we get into this a little bit earlier. So now, by the end of the second week, we're really starting to focus on when this ball is played out from the back, what do we do as a group? Okay, so it gets to be a little bit more tactical, more team-based. Okay, which is totally fine. This is okay. All right, that's good. And then by 4.3, the third session of the second week, we should be playing. So what I've done is I've taken out a session. I actually thought I deleted this, so I'm going to have to delete that again. We've taken out the first activity. Just keep it to 2 and get to final play phase as quickly as possible. So that's the goal for that week, right? Remember, as we go through, okay, we can go back to first session and look. These are the most important topics that we're going to get out of the first week. How to pressure. We need to demonstrate bent run, big steps, then small. As we get closer, small choppy steps. When to pressure. As ball is played in. So when the ball is moving, not after that player gets it. That's important to coach. What are the cues or the triggers? Dave Pritchard likes to talk about triggers. I talk about cues. It's just a different way of saying it. So if you hear me say cues, I'm meaning cues as in which action gets us to do something as a group or as an individual. Okay, a bad touch cues us into get closer, get more pressure, and maybe win the ball, right? Or it's a trigger to do the same thing. So that's just wording. And then where to press, where are we starting to force them? So this is starting to get ingrained in them pretty quickly, okay? The 3v3, just 1v1 defending. As we get to the end, okay, we're looking at when we should pressure, again, still, but then where should we go? What is each player's role? Where are we forcing them? Can we prevent them from moving the ball forward? And then the cue of when to move to defend is extremely important for everybody. So if this ball is played over, what do we look like? If it's played back, what do we look like? What are we doing and when are we doing it? Sorry for that zoom in. I didn't mean to do that. So those are the cues we're looking for in this session, in this week, 2 weeks. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to get a hold of me. As always, you guys have a wonderful 2 weeks. Hopefully this weather clears up. It looks like it's going to. So enjoy, and we will talk to you all soon.